shouting get up at you, right? I've actually never done that till now. So it's Memorial Day weekend, and last night's crowd were a fucking vibe, right? So you have a lot to live up to. Already off your face drunk. How many of you have been drinking today? You don't really have work on Monday, do you? Because it's a long weekend, I know. In England, it's also a bank holiday this weekend. We would call it a bank holiday. Is it V-Day? What bank holiday is it? Yeah, I never know what the bank holiday in England is. There's a lot in May, though. I know that. I used to always think it was for me, because my birthday is in May, and then it's like followed. In here. Oh my God, what a nightmare. We are a nightmare. Tauruses are a nightmare. Anyway, I'm so happy you're here on this special weekend, and today didn't seem quite as hot as yesterday, but I hope you've been staying hydrated while you've been dehydrating out there, okay? Anyway, everybody say hello to Eric, my piano player. Eric, say hello to all our friends for the night. Anyway, talking about me, to stand up earlier, just so you know, you can sit down or you can stand up whenever you want. This isn't a seated show. Even though it feels very posh because of like the velvet and stuff like that on the chairs, you can stand up whenever you want. You'll see, well you did see, those screens are absolutely enormous and they cost me a fortune. So even if there's someone that's like 9 foot standing in front of you, just turn your head and you'll be able to see. Okay, so don't be telling no one. Anyway, have you had a good weekend so far? How many of you got to Vegas yesterday? Woo! How many of you got here on Thursday? Oh, you're up for it. Okay, great. Okay, you've been here a few days. All right, lovely. Do we have any special occasions? Hey. I imagine there's lots of birthdays because the amount of people that cheered when you said hey. So happy birthday, one and all. Do we have any anniversaries here tonight? Show me with your hand what year anniversaries we've got in the room. Okay, we've got 25 over there. That's one of my lucky numbers. Happy 25th. We've got a 10-year anniversary over there. What was your anniversary in the orange? What was that? Yoo-hoo! Yeah, what year are you on? I can't hear you because I've got these speakers in my ears. Show me with your hands. 10, 20, 30, 28. 28 years over there. It's like a competition. We've got 25, 28. So we've got 30 anywhere. We've got, hang on, 10, 15, 18 years over there. We've got 7 years over there. There was a 7 years last night as well. I wish them luck because that's the 7-year itch. You see, that's when I got divorced. It's a true story. I never knew that was a real thing until, well, ding dong. Any other anniversaries? We've got 30. We've got a 30 over there. Happy anniversary. 10, 20. We've got 20. We've got 15 over there. Well, congratulations, you've all been married longer than I ever was. Do we have any graduations here tonight? Hello, congratulations and well done for all of that. I was saying last night to you, wasn't I, Eric, that we didn't go to college. Obviously we're all right because we're up here. So as much as I congratulate you, because it really is genuinely such an amazing feat. I used to be terrified when I was a teenager because the teachers used to tell us that if we didn't get, pass all of our exams, that we'd amount to nothing. Well, they can fuck off, can't they? I agree. I can't wait for my son to go to college. I absolutely can't wait. And he'll be one of the first. So he'll be the second one out of my whole family that ends up going to college. We call it university in England. And I did really want to go, and I was supposed to go, but then I got offered a record deal, so I was like, well, do I still study music or do I do music? What one do I do? But as much as I wished that I'd gone, I don't like the scare tactics that the teachers put into us. I don't know if they do that in American schools, but in England they do, call blimey. Anyway, chatting a lot of shit, I'm nervous, I don't know why. Anyway, do we have any girls' trips here tonight? Hello ladies, do we have any gays' trips here tonight? Hello, do we have any bachelorette/Hindus here tonight? One. Good luck. Do we have any divorce parties? Yes. Do we have any mothers and their kids, mothers and their daughters, mothers and their sons? That's my favourite category, sorry, it just is. Only because I really hope my son wants to go and do fun things with me when he's older. Do we have any husbands specifically? I'm going to say that because the other categories are unlikely. Do we have any husbands that have been dragged along against their will? because you're going to get laid tonight. I will get you laid because my music is emotive and your wives are going to be so happy that you came all the way to Vegas for her to come watch my show, and I'm going to make you laugh and enjoy it in the end. You'll be singing our songs when you leave on the way home. Right, well, thank you everybody for coming and for making the effort and taking the time to come spend your Saturday night with me. It really does mean the world to me. Thank you so much. How many of you have never seen this show before? How many of you is this your first time? That's pretty much a full house. Do we have any repeat offenders here tonight? That's the highest possible compliment you coming back. I appreciate that as well. So for those of you that haven't been before, this show is not like an acoustic piano and a voice moment at all. Obviously, I'm sure lots of you heard years ago. It's been years ago because it feels like I'm just going to be here forever. But years ago, I didn't manage to launch my residency here. I had to cancel it a few nights before because it was quite frankly terrible. So I scrapped it and went back to the drawing board in the end because so many things hadn't come together for it. And when I first did my real opening night, I realised that a lot of people probably thought I just put this giant egotistical A together. And it took me like a year, and probably like the worst like 4 months of my life just for this, and for me to do an acoustic show, but that's not the case. I like my show to open small like this because it makes my nerves go away, because I'm actually a very nervous performer, which is why I'm talking so much shit at 1,000,000 miles an hour to you right now. So, but it's like a reverse psychology. It like makes me chill out quicker by being naked with you, basically. And I feel like it's like 5-10 minutes to kind of get to know each other before I drag you head first through all of your own emotional dirt. Are you ready for that journey tonight? But the show is very, very much, it's a grower and not a shower. Because over the next 2.5 hours, you'll start noticing things happening and getting bigger and getting smaller and disappearing. And then, you know, there's everything you could possibly imagine going on in this show. So I'm going to give you a very, very good time. I'm going to give you a couple more piano ballads in this setting right now. And also for the husbands that have been dragged along, pretty much all of my songs are sad piano ballads. It's kind of my thing. But I do have a few up-tempo pop bangers that I will give to you, and I'll give them to you all at once, just so we don't have to lie to ourselves. We're here to be miserable, not to so I'll give it to you a bit later. But a couple more songs in this setting, and this one's a bit of an oldie. And I didn't do it on my last tour. I always say last tour as if I tour every record. That's the biggest lie ever. Just the last time I was doing shows, I stopped doing this song because I was a bit bitter still about the situation. But also I'd written more piano ballads, so I did the newer piano ballads rather than doing the older ones. But I decided to do this one for the Vegas show because a lot of people would always ask me why I didn't do it before on my last shows. And I realised how much people seem to like it, and it's been going down very, very well. This will be, tonight's our 84th show tonight. 84 out of 100, we are really on the home stretch, which is quite sad, but I will miss it terribly. But yeah, every other time we've sung this, it's gone great. So if you like this one and you remember the words, sing along with us, or with me, all right? This is turning types of music sort of thrown at the wall and put on an album, basically. So it was a bit of folk, it was a bit of jazz, it was a bit of soul, it was a bit of pop, it was some fucking indie rock on it. It was crazy, it was all just very, very eclectic. And I used to play the guitar all the time until I decided that I'd rather have really nice acrylic nails than play. But I had like a couple of piano ballads, as it were, on my first album, but they weren't necessarily my idea. You know, I write everything on guitar. Even now I do, you know, when I'm writing I don't really have nails on, but I can't play piano really to save me life. I know the basic sort of, you know, way around a piano, but not really enough to like write a full-blown song and sit here and play it and sing and stuff. Anyway, I'm babbling. Anyway, so I had no idea what style I wanted to have, but I knew I wanted one, and I was very, very fortunate that I got to tour quite a lot with my first album. And when I say lucky, obviously in this day and age, it doesn't matter, like everyone just has a kind of a big shot of trying to make it everywhere. But when I came out, social media wasn't really a thing, it was very much Facebook and MySpace still. And streaming certainly wasn't a thing. Napster had tried to do something and then they got sued, you know, it was that kind of thing. So being a random girl from North London in Tottenham, in England, it's a thing in England to like, oh, I wonder if so-and-so could break America, so it hadn't even crossed my mind, but I was very lucky that I got to spend quite an amount of time here. doing radio tours and doing my own little tours and things like that. And I discovered country music, which was, I know, such a fucking vibe. But again, there was no streaming, so I didn't know much about country and bluegrass music because I had no access to it really, you know. Obviously I knew who Shania Twain and Dolly Parton was, obviously. But not all country artists cross over, like, you know, obviously, again, now they do, but I'm talking about like fucking 15, 16 years ago now. I'm 36, my first album was called 19. Anyway. So I was really, really hoping that my newfound obsession and love of country music would rub off on me in terms of the storytelling of country music and the songwriting and the lyrics, because I think they are top tier, the best ever. And I wasn't sure if I was being the sponge that I was hoping that I was. And then this song that I'm going to sing for you in a minute was, I went to the studio one day and it just came out, and I was pleased as punch with myself, very, very proud. That I'd written this song just on a random day off in a day, but also I had been a sponge and my storytelling was a million times better than it had been when I was making my first album, and that's not me dissing my first album, I love it, I'm fond of her, she's sweet. But it was very, very different, and I feel like you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute when I start. I wanted my lyrics to have a bit more depth to them and just be a little bit more, I wouldn't say relatable, but like more that somebody else could take my story and almost make it their own and feel something in it as a bit of comfort, because that's my favourite thing about music, is I'm convinced that certain songs, oh my God, how do they know that's how I feel? You know, and I have those certain songs for all different types of emotions and different types of moments in my life, and I really, really wanted that to be my style of music. But just quickly to involve that story of turning tables, even though my lyrics and my storytelling got way, way better, you know, they were still, I could still shine a shit into a diamond, right? So the story of turning tables is, I was, obviously, I'm sure for those of you that know 21, which I'm hoping would be most of you, otherwise that'd be good. But my first big love, you know, my first love really, you know, because I used to always think I was in love when I was like 13, but really I wasn't, Jesus. But, you know, it was my first real heartbreak, so it really did make my earthquake. And, but that second album, 21, is all about one guy, which I think is absurd. But it is what it is, I wouldn't change anything for the world. But while we were still together, I reflected on it afterwards to write Turning Tables, but while we were still together, we was in New York at this Chinese restaurant, right? And they had a lazy Susan table, you know, so that when you're across the table from each other, rather than reaching over and like getting your sleeves dirty with Chinese food, you just turn the table, right? So we started having, well, to be honest, we were just in a constant state of arguing, to be honest with you, because we really were turning on each other. But the waiter put my sweet and sour chicken on his side of the table, and he put his hand, my ex, on the table so that I couldn't swivel the lazy Susan to get my sweet and sour.
Oh my God.
So that is what turning tables is. But from the greats of country music, I have learned how to really be a songwriter. Anyway, so let me do that first song that I wrote for my second album now. Obviously, it is very sentimental to me for that story that I just told you about 1,000,000 years ago. I really am chatting my ass off tonight, I'm sorry. Anyway, before I start singing it though, please give a massive round of applause to the girls. Please welcome Laura, Amanda and Katie to the stage. It gets dry because I chat so much rubbish. Alright, here we go. If anybody can choose them over me. However, if I was up there, I would leave a newborn up there with trusted adults over the age of like 30. So just let me know though if you can't, and I should call out another one. Okay, so we've got block 404. Row F for Freddy, F for food, F for fuck. And then we have seat 408. Row F, 408. I can see some flailing arms. Can you see them, cameraman? Is that them? It's definitely not him, is it? Look, it's not it. It's the high arm there. I can see. Yeah, behind. It's in a different angle. I can see you girls. I can see that hand. Just come on down, girls. Are you going to come down? Are you going to bring someone with you and come on down? Okay, fantastic. Take your time, no rush. Do you want to hear the story that made me really know I was 36? And then we can start being, try and be young with a pop band from about 10 years ago. Anyway, so last night during the show, right, I thought I had a bogey in my nose. In a minute, you've got to stand back up, because I told you I'm giving you all of my up-tempos. It's the only chance for us to get our steps in for the day. So last night during the show, I thought I had a bogey in my nose. Right, and obviously on this size screen, you can imagine how paranoid I was, right? There wasn't a bogey. I kept, you know, when I went off, you'll see in a minute, in a little while, I'll go on stage for like 2 minutes and I'll check for a bogey and it wasn't there. So today when I got back into the makeup room, I put a very bright light on my nose. And I realised that I have a hairy nose, is what I realised. Now I know we're supposed to have hair in our nose because it catches the germs, and me being OCD about germs, I know that, but something's happened in the last like 20 days. Because one of the hairs was so long that it was basically spiralling around my nose. So it was digging into the other side that it was basically growing out of. So that's why I thought I had a bogey. It's a brand new sensation. So I decided to trim my nose hair just before I came on. It's the sort of first time experience really. So I grabbed a pair of nose scissors and just very, very gently went, you know, cutting away at this one nostril. And I got a bit carried away and started doing the other one. Anyway, so then I was like making sure there was no hair on my top lip from having just trimmed my nose. And there was like 4 really stubborn hairs. And I was trying really hard, but I had makeup on at this point, so I was trying not to wipe my makeup off, and then I put my torch from my phone on my face, and I had 4 very black hairs on my moustache, right? Now that's it, again, I don't mind having a moustache, that's fine. I get a few hairs on my chin, I'll call them Larry, right? Because I've had since I was like 17, and then when I had my child, I was pregnant with a boy, and God wanted me to be a boy, he like, and but to have 4 very thick black hairs on my top lip when I clearly am not a brunette, I was just a bit shocked by it, and I don't really know what to do. I guess I got a laser, right? Because if I start shaving my face, I'll be fucked, right? And listen, I'm not one that has been like trained by like society to think I can't have hair, because I don't give a flying fuck about that. But my point is I have very thick hair. What I don't want is a thick, furry face. That's what I don't want. And those 4 hairs. Anyway, so that was my friendly reminder that I'm very much 36 and turning 37 next year. So. You have to read your last line. Anyway, I guess that's the story. Does anyone else here have to trim their nostrils? Oh my God, I'm going to aim for you in that little girl in the middle row with the pink sparkly 2-piece on. I'm going to aim for you in a minute. I saw you, baby. And I wasn't going to do it in a minute because I'm going to aim for that little girl. I see you. Last night, I'm aiming for the middle balcony. Can everyone see that little girl on the back row in the middle of the balcony? She's wearing a pink sparkly 2-piece. If it gets within 2 rows of her, do me a favour, give it to her and I'll sort you out later. All right, here we go. Last night, I couldn't get the middle row. Oh. No! Have you got it? Did it land? Where is it? Oh, they're not sharing the love. They're like, I'm keeping it. Okay, I'm going to aim for you again in a minute, baby. Don't worry. Okay, let me try one more time for that little girl. Go on, pass it back. I dare you. Pass it back to the little girl. Go on, I dare you. Pass it back. Go on, pass it back to the little girl. I'll get you a signed programme. Give it to the little girl. Give it to the little... Oh, no, it doesn't want to. Baby girl, I'm going to get you a programme. Okay, can you get me a programme, Paul? It's just a t-shirt, guys. I know. Right, will you get me a programme and I'm going to sign it? So we need dead silence in the room. Hey! Wave it, honey. Wave it, we can see you. Nice one to the adult. Right. Could we have dead silence in the room? Because I want to get her name and I want to get the person's name who just gave it to her. Claudia. It's Claudia. That's one. Kennedy. Kennedy and Claudia. Okay, I'm going to sign 2 programmes for you in 1 minute. They're just getting them and then I'll get them brought to you. Oh, I'm sweating my tits off. So, do we have those programmes yet so I can quickly sign them before I run out of time? Here they are, okay. So, Can you see? Can you put the lights on for 1 minute? Sorry, just so I can make sure they go into the right hands. Okay, Kennedy and Claudia, will you stand up for me a minute, please? So you see where those two people there are security? Can you make sure that Claudia and Kennedy get these programmes? Let me just quickly write on them. Oh, I feel like an old woman about to tell you a story. So Kennedy is Kennedy. There's Kennedy's one, just make sure that we don't smudge it. And then Claudia, Claudia. No? See, how do I spell it in America? Claudia. She's not giving me a thumbs up. I am right. I was like, shit, how do you spell that in American? Oh, there we go. Well, we're all a bit British in the end, aren't we? Okay. Right, thank you so much. And Claudia, thank you so much for that. It was absolutely amazing. Thank you. Memory that might not even be theirs, just so that they can have an answer. But sometimes people come up with really, really beautiful ones and things like that. Often it does involve grandparents and a lot of riding bikes and going to the beach and things like that, but it's really, really beautiful. And then occasionally I'll come across a super fan who's either been to the show before or seen the show online and ends up telling me the deepest core memory from one's childhood that you could ever have, and it is very, very intense, and sometimes will sit with me all week until the following Friday or Saturday when I hear another core memory from somebody. But obviously I haven't been experiencing that for the last few weeks that I've been doing shows, but I always reply to them with one of my favourite memories from when I was younger, which, you know, a year and a half ago felt very much like a good idea, but this is my 84th fucking memory. And I have lots of memories. I have lots of good memories, but if you try and think of, if you're like scraping the barrel to try and think of your 84th one, a lot of negative things come up as well, you know? And then you go home from like being on stage with all of you guys and you just end up spiralling all night about one memory that you didn't even remember before you were trying to remember a memory for a show. But anyway. Earlier on when I was getting my glam done, I watched an M. Night Shyamalan movie. It was Knock in the Cabin, so I'm getting that completely wrong, but you know what I'm talking about, it was his last one. I love him, I've always loved him, I think he's brilliant. And then I was trying to describe it to like, everyone that makes me look like this, basically, because I don't actually look like this. And they were like, oh, we'll describe it, is it, no, I was like, it was his last movie, and then they were like, what was the one before that? And I was like, well, I think it was Old, which I also liked, and they haven't seen that. And then they said, is it as good as Sixth Sense? Which is the stupidest question I think I've ever heard, because I think Sixth Sense is one of the greatest movies of all time. And I'm absolutely a movie buff. That's actually the career and industry I should be in. I know that sounds fucking ridiculous, but it is. It's my one huge passion in my life is TV and film. Anyway, so it got us discussing the plot twist. You know the plot twist at the end of Sixth Sense? You know, if any of you haven't seen it, I understand if the kids haven't seen it, but if you're a grown adult and you haven't seen it, you need to get your life together. Because it really is brilliant. And there's a plot twist at the end, which I have gone in search of recently to try and find a film with a better plot twist. I cannot find one. Now, there are movies with other plot twists, don't get me wrong, and they're brilliant, but none of them are as good as the one in Sixth Sense. And I know maybe I'm a little bit biased because it was also, I was a bit obsessed with Bruce Willis around that time because of Not Long Been Armageddon. And it was from that movie I realised I liked older men. I don't know, tell me what. I had a real thing for Bruce Willis. I mean, I still do, absolutely, but you know, as like a movie star. But him delivering and him being the plot twist was absolutely blew my mind. And it just got me thinking about the first time I saw Sixth Sense, which I remember very, very clearly. I remember everything about it because of how good the plot twist was. And I also was telling, I watched it recently with one of my best friends to see if the plot twist felt any different. Have a wonderful time when you're in Vegas, and please know that I do not underestimate, and it means the absolute world to me for you taking the time and making the effort to come see me here in Vegas. I know it's a bit of a pain in the arse getting here at time of work. I know it's Memorial Weekend for you guys, but still you've got flights, hotels, let alone the fucking tickets, Jesus Christ, childcare, pet care, all of those things. It really does mean the world to me, and I love doing this show. It's been the most brilliant time of my life. I love it so much. Look after each other on the way out. Remember to hydrate while you dehydrate, because I think tomorrow's meant to be boiling too, alright? Because back in my heyday, I used to drink alcohol and no water, and I used to get fucked up. I've got 2 more songs for you. One big up tempo and then one mid tempo. Alright, should we get our final steps in for the night? Love you, take care of each other, and like I said, be nice to each other on the way out. Thank you so much.